This is Wayne here with Tri-County Locksmith Service, and this is the alarm lock versus the Arrow Digital Revolution. These are both standalone units, and they have some similarities. They're both designed to be commercially used, and they have some similarities and some not so similarities. First of all, the alarm lock this is the one that I've personally, I've seen these things just beat to death. I've froze it, burned it, hit it with a hammer, and basically all the electronics are encased in like a jelly substance. It's like an impact gel, and that way no condensation or any weather can get to the electrical components inside of here. Arrow uses a rubber gasket, this rubber gasket right here, instead of going with something like this. So if you have a textured door, that could allow some moisture into this unit here. I give the nod to the waterproofing and weatherproofing to alarm lock for sure, but Arrow does have their own advantages as well. They do have a video out that they made where they pressure wash it and do the same thing, burn it and grinder and all this stuff. I didn't do that test to this. I have done my own to this one, and it survived everything perfectly well. And I've just seen these used longer in the field. You can put them out in the middle of nowhere, in the dirt, dust, snow, and everything else, and you just don't have to work on them. That's what I really like about it. They're just a simple design that just keeps on going and going and going. The Revolution does have a place though. When we start talking about price point, you're looking at a retail of about $505 for a lock like this. You're looking at a retail of about $850 for a lock like this. So you got about a $350 gap in between these two. What does that mean? That means that for government agencies, police departments, hospitals, high traffic areas, airports, etc., I recommend the alarm lock as the superior product. If you're doing something a little less, maybe it's still a business front and it's going to be used commercially, just not with that high volume of public traffic, this would be a money-saving alternative to that. A couple of the other features. This lock looks a little sleeker, a little more space age, a little nicer, and it's got the keypad that comes up, but that has its own advantages and disadvantages. It looks a little bit cooler and sleeker and neater. This one looks a little more bulky and clunky, but this system right here in direct sunlight is a little more difficult to see, well, quite a bit more difficult to see, whereas this here, you can see it very, very well. Advantages for the Arrow lock are that they at least do have that rubber seal that goes around. That is a definite good thing. The stuff is pretty heavy duty, the clutches and whatnot. It's easier to set up and install this lock than this one. And the main thing I like is that it does talk to you and it walks you through the process. So if you want to program this, it tells you what you're doing. And then star is going to be the access, so that's going to grant you access. So you're not going to get any music with this one per se, but it's going to go ahead and let it open, and then it's going to go ahead and disengage the clutch and relock it. This one will walk you through
menu mode.
The menu.
Number. Press the pound key to continue.
So you can enter any of these numbers and it'll tell you what you're doing. Let's say
register user code.
Register
Press
user
the
code.
Pound key to continue. Language setting mode. Press the
Language.
pound key to continue. Register master code.
Master code.
Press passage mode.
You can
Press
put it in
the
passage
pound
mode.
key
You can
to
put this one in
continue.
passage mode as well. This one doesn't have the talking, so it doesn't have the languages as an option.
Silent mode. Press the pound
You can switch
key
it
to
off so it
continue.
doesn't talk.
All code lockout
All
mode.
code lockout.
Press the pound key to user code lockout mode. Press the pound key to continue. Lock setting mode. Press the pound key to continue. Register master code. Press the pound key to continue.
Okay, so this thing's going to talk to you as you set it up. This is going to use 4 AA batteries. This is going to use 5 AA batteries. Battery life on this, because this has the light up screen, because it has the talking and the automation and
Time expired.
all of the other things that it does, it sucks the power down. So you're going to be replacing batteries more than double, more than twice as often on this unit as this one. This one, Alarm Lock's main goal was to make the batteries last for a very, very long time and not draw very much power at all. So I've seen batteries in the Alarm Lock series in commercial settings where there's multiple offices, multiple people in public coming in and out, being used daily. Probably, I would say at least 50 to 100 times a day, and the batteries will last 2 years easily, as long as you have good high quality batteries. This one here, same atmosphere, you're going to be replacing them after a year at the very you're going to get the most you're going to get is a year out of the batteries on the Arrow unit. So if you just got to decide what you're doing. If you're going to have high traffic and you just want something to set it and forget it, go with the Alarm Lock. If you're on a little bit more of a budget, the Arrow's a good unit too. The only thing I know about Alarm Lock is this company's going to stay here for a long time. They're designing locks for schools. Their networks program, they just have so many more options. You can set it up with a prox fob ID. You can set it up with a calendar. Basically, you can set this to open and lock itself, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, 7 days a week. You can program in a whole calendar year into a lock like this and never have to come out and touch it again, whereas something like this doesn't have those capabilities. This one does have the nicer features. It's a little bit more user friendly, to where it's going to talk you through it. It's going to let you know what you're doing. It's going to do it in 5 different languages or however many languages are on there. And it's going to be a lot simpler for the end user to use. This one's going to be a whole lot more complicated. I have to refer to the book every time I set one of these up, because they have, the 2600 series, the 2700 series, the 2800 series, and they all have different instructions on how you set them up and add or delete codes. So it's just a matter of preference. A little bit less quality. I'm not saying it's a bad product. I'm just saying if you put 2 of these locks on the exact same door and use them exactly the same over and over and over again in harsh conditions, I guarantee you this lock will last much, much longer than this one here. This one's going to be more convenient for outside use, because it's going to be able to have this nice look to, or it's going to have this nice feature where you're going to be able to see the buttons. They're not behind a screen. If you use this on an indoor application, it would be great. It'd be absolutely fine indoors. It has the ability to be weatherproof, but the screen in the sun outside can be difficult for some users to see. So that's the review on these 2. Determine your end user, determine who's going to be using this lock, determine where it's going to be going and how much abuse it's going to be taking, and make the decision for yourself. But it's, quality and economic, but they're both great products. So for more information, check out the website below, and have a great day.